Honorable Member for Ningo Pram, Sam George.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and thanks to the Deputy Majority Leader for presenting the business statement for next week. Mr. Speaker, I was hoping that in view of a number of demonstrations and complaints about roads in the country, especially, for example, last Friday, the people of Ningo Pram and Konkatamanso demonstrated their anger at the fact that the road from Tema interchange or from the TT Brothers traffic light all the way to Central University, and I see the former roads minister here, where he came, it's in a deplorable state. Mr. Speaker, members of those communities are struggling 2 hours in traffic. I see that the Minister of Roads is here to answer questions on Wednesday. It would have been good that he made a statement on what government is doing relative to all of these stalled road projects.
Honorable. Honorable Sam, hold on. You see, the minister is coming here at the instance of members who have seen the need to file a question. So if you have a similar issue, please file a question. The minister will be obliged to come and respond specifically to your area.
Mr. Speaker, you see, that's what I'm saying, that once the minister is coming here, the minister will come here and respond to individual questions. Some judge will ask one question, will come and respond. But if the minister is here and does a comprehensive statement to the House on what the status of roads that have been affected by the external creditors, Mr. Speaker, it is the IMF program that is affecting the roads, because all of these roads are foreign funded. So the minister must come to this House on Wednesday. The debt restructuring. So the minister must come and make a statement on the impact of the debt restructuring on road projects that have stalled.
Honorable Sam, still, you can bring the minister here to respond specifically to roads that are being undertaken through the funding from the IMF. I mean, you have
to, it's not IMF. I said debt restructuring.
For whatever it is.
The economy was mismanaged, and now we are doing a debt restructuring.
Whatever it is, you can bring the minister to respond.
I was just hoping that you will save the whole country. But if Mr. Speaker doesn't want to save the whole country, I'm guided. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let me start with Honorable Kujetu. I'll come to you.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity to comment on the business statement. And Mr. Speaker, my first comment relates to the VRA spillage issues. So, Mr. Speaker, the matter Honorable Thomas Nakwampam raised relates to the announced spillage for 2024. My understanding is that the letter that VRA has sent to Parliament also relates to stakeholder engagement on the 2024 impending spillage. But the 2023 disastrous spillage, this House has still not held an inquiry into that spillage. Right Honourable Speaker ruled, indeed in his own opening remarks, in October of last year, was that this House will constitute a committee of inquiry to look into the spillage. Mr. Speaker, all of these stakeholder engagements, if we don't know exactly what happened in 2023, where the shortcomings were, where mistakes were made, the needed institutional reforms that must take place, the same mistakes are bound to recur. It's not just a matter of stakeholder engagement. So that outstanding probe, leadership, Mr. Speaker, your good self, with all due respect, we must know what has happened to that probe. That probe must take place so that all of us can learn lessons. And then we can somehow have confidence that the measures that are being put in place for the 2024 spillage are grounded on well-informed lessons that have been learned over the period. So, Mr. Speaker, that probe must happen. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, last week after the presentation of the business statement, when the majority chief whip indicated that on the matter relating to the outstanding National Cathedral probe, he was not sure the status where we were as a house. I generously provided the Hansard of 3rd August 2023. Mr. Speaker, in a few weeks, next month will be 1 year, and you were in the chair that day, 3rd August 2023. We debated the motion, and it was left with leaders presenting names of members to serve on the committee. Mr. Speaker, it is taking us 11 months. 2 weeks from now will be exactly 1 year. 1 year. Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, if the names were being delivered from China on foot, if somebody was walking from China to bring the names, it will have arrived long ago. So what is going on, Mr. Speaker? Over $58 million on a pit. So many issues of accountability, lack of transparency, legal breaches, constitutional violations, value for money. And there appears to be such a nonchalant attitude. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't speak well about our institution. And since 3rd August 2023, something ought to be done. The name should be submitted. I recall that day, if you read the Hansard, our side had the names. Their names were ready. Our colleagues said they wanted to consult. Which kind of consultation takes more than 11 months, Mr. Speaker? We cannot continue this way. This stalemate, this stonewalling, we are letting the Ghanaian people down. And Mr. Speaker, if you've read the latest Afro Barometer, the perception of the people about Parliament is at an all-time low. All-time low. Just about 36% of the people think that Parliament is doing what it should do. And we all have to be worried about that. And it's because of things like this. So, Mr. Speaker, please, we want your directive. The National Cathedral Committee of Inquiry. When are we going to take off? We've debated the motion which was duly admitted by the Speaker. There was no objection. We built consensus. What is left is just names. When would the names be submitted and when would the committee start work? $58 million. Let's reflect on what it can do. So, Mr. Speaker, please, I hope that you help us in this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. Let me go to Officer North.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I really want to commend the Chairman of the Business Committee for the business statement that he has read. But, Mr. Speaker, a couple of months ago, I filed a question to the effect that some members of the seventh Parliament were alleged to have taken some double salary. It is important that we bring clarity to the issue. So I filed a question so that the Minister for Finance can come to the House and then brief members up to speed. I was expecting that the Business Committee will program that question for next week. I scoped through all that. It's not there. So I want to find out what the Chairman of the Business Committee and indeed the entire members of the committee is, when they are programming, when they intend to program that meeting, so that the Finance Minister can come to the chamber and bring members and the country up to speed on the status of that. whether it is true and what is it that the Finance Ministry is also doing to do this. Thank you. Right, Honourable Speaker.
Very well. Now, Honourable James Agaga.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I have two major concerns. The first one has to do with two outstanding motions, very important motions, Mr. Speaker. The first one is the report of the Committee of Defense and Interior on the alleged military brutalities committed against the people of Ashama. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter which borders on human rights violations. It is alleged that the military brutalized the people of Ashama. Mr. Speaker directed the Committee for Defense and Interior to conduct some investigations, concluded with our investigations and laid our report. Mr. Speaker, the motion keeps appearing on the order paper for action. Somehow, the Business Committee has never found space for this important motion to be taken. People's rights were violated, and the public is watching. Just as Honorable Okujetu Ablakwa hinted, the perception about this house is not good at all. The last time the Speaker were at a public lecture, you even delegated us to represent you at that public lecture at the GAFC, and it came out. Speaker upon speaker accused Parliament of going to sleep in respect of the Ashaman matter. And yet the committee has concluded its work. So why are we not attaching importance to a matter that touches on human rights, Mr. Speaker? I see that on the other paper, the motion is captured. I think item 39. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm appealing to you to give a directive that early next week, this matter be dealt with once and for all. The second motion has to do with Botiano. The member for English Yamafro, Mr. Speaker, made a statement in this House about some police action in Botiano which resulted in 5 deaths. 5! Once again, Mr. Speaker, the committee thoroughly investigated the matter and has laid its report. The report is on item 38. Motion, but unfortunately, this House is not making space for us to take these important motions. Mr. Speaker, it looks as if this House doesn't attach importance to security-related matters. We need to take these matters very, very seriously. Once again, this is a matter which also touches on human rights. If care is not taken, the members of the committee stand to be accused that we haven't done our part, but we've done our work. What does it take to move a motion on the floor and for this House to debate the motions and adopt them or reject them? Mr. Speaker, I leave this in your capable hands. Mr. Speaker, my last issue has to do with an urgent question. An urgent question, which is 6 months old, Mr. Speaker. Now, the urgent question has been captured under urgent question 7D. It stands in my name. This question is about 6 months old.
6 months old baby. The child will have been talking by now.
Mr. Speaker, this is no longer an urgent question. Be that as it may, once it has been captured, last week, the whole of the week, this question kept appearing on the other paper. But the Minister for Energy never came to this house to respond to an urgent question determined as such the Speaker. Urgent question. So, Mr. Speaker, once again, I am appealing to you. This question has lost relevance. My constituents, their gadgets, electronic gadgets, because of doomso, under the watch of this minister who claims there is no doomso, their electronic gadgets are all destroyed. The question is here. 6 months old question. This is disturbing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Very well. Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, will you respond to those issues raised? Then we take a second batch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We want to thank you for the clarity you have placed into most of the questions about the first 3 questions that were asked. And Honorable Speaker, I equally want to defer the lamentations made by Honorable Ablakwa to your good self to answer or direct us as to how to deal with the issue. Honorable member for Tema, the clarification that was issued, we've taken note of that. As leaders or the leaders of the business committee, we are going to ensure that we bring it to bear at our committee meetings. Honorable Inti, your question on double salary, I'll equally relate to the table office, and then we'll find out when we can bring it to the fore for the necessary action. Honorable Agaga, yes, your concerns are well placed too, and your urgent questions, your concern about urgent questions being 6 months old, it's something that we've also taken note, and we are going to ensure as a business committee, because we've always been asking about whether questions have been approved for consideration, and we are always told that what has been approved is what appears on the business statement. So we will do some little inquiry and find out how we can address that issue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, thank you very much. Let me go to Sola.
I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you realize that majority of members, their concern had to do with the attendance of ministers to answer members' questions. Mr. Speaker, my own question, star 1882, appeared on the other paper throughout last week, and this week to say, Mr. Speaker, I just saw the question again on today's other paper, and I've seen the question on the presentation done by leader for next week. The question again appears on page 8 of the presentation done by leader for next week, Wednesday. So, Mr. Speaker, is it the case that again the Minister for Roads is not appearing to answer my question? And if that is the case, Mr. Speaker, the question is about a road, that is the Beneyiri Road. Mr. Speaker,